Yes, I know that everybody does not have the benefit of a, a professional model turned master seamstress in their life. Understood. But because too many times you see people's glory and you don't know their story. And I am definitely always typecast for the perfect woman. And I like to obliterate those myths because that's not what's going on. I've always been fearful to do things out of vanity, in fear that I would be worse off as punishment, you know what I mean? For, God or, my creator saying, see, you should have loved yourself. You should have loved what I gave you. And then you should have took care of what I gave you. And I was in all the science fairs. I was a kid trying to get everybody to recycle all of their recyclables. I'm her. I'm the cute nerd. Or more defined triceps. I mean, I don't know what, but you now work it, cause you're perfect. Work it, cause you're perfect.
You ready?
Ya verás, ya verás, ya verás, ya verás. Since a little girl, I've had dreams of this world. Blame it on my mama, Lodi say third album underworld. Left and right brain, I know you checked the frame. And no Tigress is not just my nickname. We only got one life and I'm gonna live it. So I get up, choose my player, push play and rock with it. I got this concept and I'm running with it. One vision, 9 concepts and I got minutes with it. Ya verás, ya verás, ya verás, watch and see, ya verás, ya verás, ya verás, ya verás, watch and see, ya verás. Before you point it out, she's a scientist and an economist. Yes, she's an academic, back to cop this PhD. Be all that I can be. Bow down, bad bitches, she been wanna be me. We only got one life, I still wanna sing. So I sip slow, choose my players, push play and indie with it. I got this concept and I'm running with it. One vision, 9 concepts, and I got that. I'm a walking contradiction.
Good morning. Let's get ready to exercise. A little bit of magic never hurt anyone. And don't take it out of context. We are not talking about black magic. We're just talking about good, lighthearted fun. All right, let's go exercise. So if I'm exercising, I don't do a lot of jewelry, but I do need to moisturize my face and brush my teeth. Let's do it. I use both. My cousin is a dental hygienist and she swears by Colgate. And this for holistic reasons, of course. And then my Dr. Bronner's, you know how much I love that. So use this and my own shea butter, of course. The instructions actually tell you to use a drop with your favorite moisturizer. Now that the summer is creeping up fast, sunblock is definitely necessary. Okay. I'm pretty sure these are called earring jackets, where you have the one piece in the front and then another piece in the back. As opposed to just an earring back. And I love these. I love that. I love some good ear candy. And I will be headed out to Thrift a little later, even though what I pick up today won't be in this haul. But today we're going to do an athleisure haul. All right, let's go have some breakfast. I'm gonna do fruit and then exercise, and then we'll head to my magic closet. And if you haven't seen it, you're in for a treat. Come on.
Listen to Aunt Molly, Daddy. We'll race the car at home and we want to go show Mommy.
And we gotta build the other car too.
Alright, let's go.
Come on,
A little too early. It's wet.
I know.
I thought.
Yeah, I got wet on mine
I was
too.
like, well.
You tried.
today we have 10 different variations of squats. We're going to do 10 reps per each variation, and we're going to do 2 rounds, and that will take us to 200 reps. I hope you guys are ready. Make sure that you have some space around you, and without further ado, let's get to it. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. All the way down and up.
Can't beat this feeling, you got me Can't beat this feeling, you got me You ain't never seen nothing till you've been to Tokyo. Faster than New York, you ain't been lit till you seen the light show from Athens peaks. I've been geeking from this height, swear I could fly. I put the big O in Rio. When you see me, ask me why. Yeah, can't beat this feeling. You got me Can't beat this feeling. You got me From Arizona to Virginia, back to California, the desert, sunset, sand, beaches. What you know about Marina Del Rey? Ain't nothing like the states unite. Miami, New Orleans nights, DC sights, Vegas lights, and Cincinnati, let baby sleep on the Outer Banks, and McNabbs and San Diego. Twisted line, slow mo. This feeling ain't no joke, but on the real ain't nothing like sticks in a movie at my place. Wanna relate, tweet, I'm booked high, seeing home.
Hey yo, it's kinda like that cause how she make me feel. Hit it 3 times and I'm ready to chill. She let me do me, but she keeps it real. She got the sweetest accent, man, her speech can kill. Legs of a horse and the features fill. Oh my god, a 5-star broad. Shorty in school, work real hard. Dreams of being large, head woman in charge. But she don't spend no cash, she swipes her card. And when she wanna use her looks to buy a drink at the bar, she get dope on most niggas, they be thinking too hard. So my advice is take it slow before you take it too far. He like, my nigga, I ain't high, I'm like I'm thinking you are. Cause lil' mama ain't gon' ride unless you taking her far. She like my bite, she get me right when she be breaking me off. So when she tell me it's a problem, I'm breaking your jaw, she got me high.
The best part of waking up You ready? Well, let's go ahead and do this haul, y'all. And yes, some of you already know I do come in here and I do have a cocktail or two. Those are my favorite from Steve Madden. They were basically thrifted. I purchased them at the outlet, the premium outlets, and I think I got them for like 20 bucks, something like that. It was crazy. The sale was crazy. You hear me? You'd have to go back into my haul playlist. I'll link it at the end of this video. And some of you know, I've said it many times, honey, if I was a shoe, this just, it speaks to me, it calls to me, it's comfortable, it's unique, it's gaudy, it's high and haute couture, it's sleek, it's sporty, it's everything that I am. It's a walking contradiction. Yes, I love that shoe. All right, so let's get to this haul, y'all. So basically I have, like I said, I cleared some space. And if you didn't know, yes, this is my magic closet. And here, the magic is all in the confidence. I don't have to wiggle my nose. Sometimes you'll see me snap my fingers, wink my eye, my signature ambidextrous. I don't know what you would call that because I can wink very easily from both eyes. Always have been able to do that, but I can't whistle, so you can't have it all. But anywho, this is the magic closet, my magic closet. And again, the true magic is in the confidence that you exude. We've heard it so many times. It's so cliche, but it is so true, and it's essential to your holistic health as well, that you accept who you are, accept your assets and even your flaws, and that you learn to work it, honey, strut and focus on your strengths and rebuild your weaknesses where you can, and don't let anybody tell you you aren't fierce, honey. All right, so I'll get off my high horse there for a second. I have finished my workout. I did, as you saw, the 200 squat challenge. I only did that routine because I will also be walking today. I'm not going to take you along with me. That's just going to be later on. And so that's going to be my regimen for today. If you don't know, I actually have a exercise regime where I am on one day off the next, and I alternate between legs and abs and full body. My arms are extremely well defined from my my past sport involvement. Hold on. I was a cheerleader. Well, let me start from the beginning really quickly here. So I am a classically trained dancer. My mother started me in ballet when I was a wee little thing. I want to say about 4 years old. Of course, I don't recall that vividly, but I do recall in kindergarten and years thereafter. I love dance. Some kids, they are put into extracurricular activities that they don't like.
honey, I love to dance. My mother was a dancer and a model. And again, so I followed in her footsteps, and gladly and voluntarily and excitedly. So if you find me out and about, I'm always dancing to some music in my head or music that I hear in whatever space that I'm in. I love dancing. So with dance, especially ballet, strong arms, because of the way that we must position our arms for different dance moves, is a common trait, right? Well-defined, strong arms. Also, I immersed myself in yoga when I got into college. So dance took me all the way through primary education. I also was a varsity cheerleader, and the cheerleading squads that I was on were competition squads, and I am 5'9". Hold on. And so for those who know that when you are 5'9" and a cheerleader, you're very likely, and especially on a competition squad, you are very likely going to be a base. You're not going to be a flyer. We did have 2 male cheerleaders. One was actually my best friend in high school, and his primary role was mascot as opposed to helping with stunts. And basically that was the role I fit into, and I actually loved it. And so it has given me a good foundational structure for these wings that you see here, and for my arms. And there are some pictures I have shown online that show when I was 15, 16, 17, and just how much more defined my wings were, if you will. I'll pop that up on the screen. So as I got older, and this is no diss, we all decide how we want to present ourselves to the world. And I'm not talking about present as far as like a facade, but we all can choose, like within reason, how we wish to kind of sculpt our body, or what areas we wish to have more well-defined than others. Because my arms are so well-defined because of that foundational sporting work that I put in, I didn't want my arms to be too bulky. I really love my feminine physique, and I wanted to keep it very feminine. And in my opinion, I didn't want my arms to be too much more well-defined, because it wasn't the presentation of femininity that I wanted to put forward as a representation of myself. Good gracious. Anyway, so basically all I'm telling you is that I don't focus on my arms. Now, I do have exercise routines that incorporate arm exercises and the fullness of my arm, you know, like a complete arm workout, as opposed to maybe just focusing on biceps or triceps or anything like that. As you can see, like, the definition just is not going anywhere. So hopefully you understand, this is not to detract away from anyone who believes that a more broad shoulder or a larger biceps or more defined triceps, I mean, I don't know what, but if they feel that that is feminine for them, then I say rock with it. And that's exactly what I was referring to before, is learn your body type and accentuate your assets and just rock it. Do you understand me? Just like that new video that came out. I love it. He says, now work it, 'cause you're perfect. Work it, 'cause you're perfect. So I agree with that wholeheartedly. But where my problem area, quote unquote, area has always been, ironically enough, is my lower body, my not even my calves. My calves are like beast mode too, But my thighs, that's where, and of course, most women, of course, that's where we hold a lot of our weight or most of our weight, or that is more of the problem or the struggle area or, area of improvement that we most often focus on. So that's why I focus a lot more on my legs and my abs. I'll be very transparent with you right now, especially considering that we are talking about holistic health and we are doing an athleisure haul. I actually had some of course you should know if you've been here, if you're subscribed, if you're part of the realist. What's up? You know what I mean? Like I say, welcome if you're new, and what's goody if you're true, right? But yeah, the realists know that I have a son, and I am, oh my God, head over heels in love with my son. That is not to say that I put him in the stereotypical generational curse role of a single mother's husband. No. No, we don't do that right here. Okay? But I can lovingly and with enlightenment say that without the indication or the connotation of the cringe aspect of it all, that I absolutely love my son. But basically, when I had him, I had very, very severe complications. I was in the hospital from the end of my second trimester to 7.5 months or 35 weeks. I had him early. He was a preemie, and it was an emergency C-section. I was on bed rest for that 2.5 months, the latter part of my pregnancy. And it was due to fibroids. I had a fibroid that was basically as big as him. So I was basically carrying twins, and the prognosis was slim. Some of you have heard this story, but I am a very spiritual warrior, and that is not to detract away from Christianity per se or religious reverence. I just don't like to refer to God as God, even though you'll hear me say God. I like to refer to God as my creator, because too many men liken themselves to God. Yeah. And you don't often hear people say that they are a creator. You know what I mean? Unless they're talking about content creation. And even still, I kind of I think creator is that's a bit strong, right? That's a bit strong, because we don't create things out of thin air. But anyway, Anyway, let's focus. And so basically I have had a longitudinal C-section. And if you've also been here and subscribed, then you also know that I recently on my, my 40, because I feel like I've had this for good God, I feel like I've had this for 4 years, if not longer. But basically, was it my 40th? No, I think this was my 45th birthday, because I am 48. So no, it would have been maybe 43. I don't know, y'all. I'll look it up. But anyway, I got a scar cover up, even though my scar healed very well. And I'll show you there. See that there? Yeah. Yeah. So, I didn't want to have another surgery to, no cosmetic surgery, if you will, because I'm not a proponent of cosmetic surgeries. To be honest with you, I've always been, call it fearful if you want to. It's okay with me. I've always been fearful to do things out of vanity, in fear that I would be worse off as punishment. You know what I mean? For, God or, my creator saying, see, you should have loved yourself. You should have loved what I gave you, and then you should have took care of what I gave you. And, and I don't believe that our creator, punishes us, quote unquote, because I do believe in an absolute benevolence, but it's just the way that my mind thinks. That does not detract away from any people who are, you know, sometimes you do have to, like when you have excess skin, when you've done the work and lost all the weight, or even if you have the gastric bypass surgery and you have the excess skin and then you get the surgery. I'm all for that. So do not take this out of context. But considering that my scar healed well, no keloiding, none of that, I felt that it was reverent to my creator to, damn it, work out, honey. Work out. Because I definitely have had the mom pouch and all that kind of stuff. I went through all the process. And I also had a partial hysterectomy. So that you are aware that because too many times you see people's glory and you don't know their story. And I am definitely always typecast for the perfect woman. And I like to obliterate those myths because that's not what's going on. My perfection, if anything, or near perfection, because there is no such thing, of course, as perfection, but my near perfection is rooted in my deliberate commitment, consistent, do you hear me? Consistent, reverent, reverent care of my holistic health, diet, nutrition, exercise, mental, spiritual. It has all been very, very deliberate. And so I am gladly going to show off and walk in full confidence in everything that I am. And if someone perceives it as perfection, then you're the problem, not me. All right, so now that all that is out of the way, the other thing I want to make sure that you're aware of before we get started, because we're going to basically start doing these hauls more often. Some of you know that I finished law school about now a year and a half ago. And I've just been dealing with all kinds of stuff. I almost lost my life last year, had to recover and all the things. So we're trying to get back into the full swing of things with everything that my platform was about. And one of those very specific things, which is it's amongst my core values, and it is the very basis for the work that I do and the type of content that I produce, and the message that I push, to the world. I am a doctoral level scientist, an environmental scientist, a scientist more specifically. My specialization is wetland bioremediation. I have hazmat and OSHA certification, which is, the big bad stuff. So your girl is kind of, yeah, we already know. Okay, we don't have to talk about it. But anyway, so with that being said, I was always that kid. Like I was a scientist like through and through. When I was younger, I knew I wanted to be a scientist when I was when I was like 7 years old. I already knew. I was in all the science fairs. I was the kid trying to get everybody to recycle all of their recyclables. I'm her. I'm the cute nerd. Self-asserted, very confident nerd and geek, okay? Both. And I'm here to show you and let you see that you can be both. Yeah. Anyway, so that being said, I always came up understanding garment construction and understanding the economics of the fashion industry because my mom was a professional model and she parlayed that into a career as a professional seamstress because my grandmother, she was a excellently self-taught sewer, and she also did a lot of reupholstery. She was, honey, I recall my grandma was so nice with it. She would just change her curtains because she wanted another color. because she was tired of the design. So she makes some more curtains for the season. Or it was Tuesday, and she just wanted some more curtains, honey, and she makes some. And I'm not talking about the easy, stupid ones, where you just, sew across, like I did for my canopy, And I'm not talking about stupid. I'm talking about, being playful. Because I'm not calling myself stupid, but I am not them. Those two, they nice with the sewing, okay? After my grandmother passed away, part of her grieving process was to sew, and in remembrance of my grandmother, and then she parlayed that into a full career. And part of my chores growing up was to help my mom to go pick up contract work, and then take it back or whatever, and just help with different things. Like sometimes I had to take out the hems and, for prep, so she could very easily complete alterations work that she had. I've told people many times, you've heard this story if you've been here, if you're part of the realist, if you've had your clothes altered between 1980 and 2005 in the greater Triad area, my mom did it. Yeah, she did it, or otherwise she managed the people who did. Yes, and I'm talking about all of the shops. So the dry cleaners, because she had contracts with dry cleaners where I had to go pick up the alterations work at the dry cleaner. So if you dropped it off at a dry cleaner and thought that they had someone on site doing the alterations, I'm here to tell you that was not the case. Now, I don't know what's happening now, but whatever. Men's Warehouse, SRI, Limbs, Big and Tall, Dillard's, JCPenney, Belt. This is my mama. But anyway, so that being said, with me having that express knowledge of garment construction and knowing and understanding wholesale, because I would go with her to fabric shops. Oh my God, I used to love going to the fabric shops with my mom. And we would go to wholesale or markets, if you will, and she would buy things that she would, like basics, if you will. And then maybe she would add something to it to make it a more signature product. And some of you know that we've owned clothing shops, apparel shops. We had a shop on Randleman Road in Greensboro, North Carolina. And it was called Bayo or Samedi Dimanche. You've heard me also pronounce it Samedi Dimanche, but Samedi Dimanche is French for Saturday and Sunday. Again, remember I'm of Haitian descent, so with that also being, on the cusp of Dominican Republic, I was just trying to do a play on words. Some Haitians get offended. I remember meeting one girl who got so offended that I had pronounced it Samedi Dimanche, and she's like, it's Samedi Dimanche, and I was like, I know. Ugh. But anyway, excuse me. But that's my music side. So let me get back to this part so we can get into this haul, y'all. But I want you to I want the foundation to be laid so that from here on out that you understand that the knowledge that I'm presenting to you is not just, and this is not to detract away from people who aren't experts, but my mother and father raised me to honor a thing with knowing a thing, and not to just proclaim some type of knowledge in something without having given that subject matter the respect that it's due to actually learn and train in that thing and train under people, various people with various methodology who know that thing. You know what I mean? Or study that thing. And I have adopted that as a core value. I believe in that very strongly. And so the things that I don't know, you will find that I won't be talking big game. I won't be out there talking big game. And even the stuff that I do know, I still remain humble enough to know that I don't know everything. But that which I know, honey, I know. So the point that I'm making to you is that you can trust my knowledge in this regard. And I've shared this many times, but, to each his own. And I've told you, because I've seen it with my own two eyes, that, you know, a lot of the products, especially garments, a lot of the garments were manufactured in China. I've known that for years. I knew that when I was a little girl. And so with me deciding, you know, to be a doctoral level scientist and going through that process, I knew that I did not want to continue buying products that, number one, I knew, because me and my mom, we would go into stores like New York and Company, Express, Michael Kors, and she's a seamstress. So she's always looking through that lens, and she said, this is terribly constructed, or no, don't get this, or okay, you can get this, or I can make that, you know, in 20 minutes. Tigress, why would you get that and spend $75? We can go get the fabric and get the color and the pattern that you want, and we can get that done and then make sure it fits you perfectly and all that kind of stuff. So yes, I know that everybody does not have the benefit of a professional model turned master seamstress in their life. Understood. But the point I'm making is that if I can now help anybody, especially when you're trying to figure out how to best dress your body type and, you know, and enliven your confidence. And I'm all about woman power and for men. I have also been a stylist for men as well. So this is a great joy for me to do this and do it from the perspective of environmental sustainability, because you don't need, and let me pause here, because it's, yes, generally slow fashion is the best option, because fast fashion generally is not constructed to last. It's just not, generally. But, or they cut corners as far as like the safety of the material or the components of the material, right? Maybe the dyes or the fabric durability, if you will. But there are often times where fast fashion can be tweaked, if you will, and you can actually make it viable. These are things that I want to show you how to very easily do. In fact, like, there are other aspects of slow fashion that most people are not familiar with or they don't readily think about. For instance, you can buy something like this, which is a polyester blend and generally considered a fast fashion fabric, because generally polyester is not, you know, considered one of the better fabrics, if you will. But if you actually care for it properly, this is also about holistic health and wellness and enlightenment. If you know how to launder it properly and you do so, you wash it in the delicate cycle and then hang it up. Take the time that, you know, that it needs to air dry and not have to be further agitated in a wash machine. Or if you buy a wash machine without the central agitator, which is what I have and what I've come up with, if you will. Or if you put it in a delicates bag, right? And then maybe if you actually lose a button, knowing how to sew that button on. I'm telling you, sewing a button on is so easy. Some of this is I'm going to do my best to chop it up, because this is probably going to be an editing nightmare. But these are things that are paramount for you to actually get the most out of your wardrobe and be sustainable. You see, the most readily thought of issues that prevent sustainability are not what truly causes the issue and keeps us from attaining a zero waste society. Because we could be pretty close to a zero waste society if we understood these very simple fundamentals and we actually had them as, you know, part of our core skills. I know when I was in high school, we had to take home economics. I know they don't necessarily require that anymore for some schools. And that entailed the basics of sewing, knowing how to thread a sewing machine, knowing how to turn the sewing machine on, knowing how to, install the needle, change the needle if it broke, learning how to sew on a button or hem a pair of pants, blind hem or otherwise. Now, sometimes I don't think they taught blind hems, and just think about it. Blind hem is just so the seam doesn't show. Okay. And we'll get to that stuff. We'll definitely get into all of that as we continue along with this series. But I just wanted to make sure that you understood what perspective I'm coming from. So it's not so much as that fast fashion is the devil. It's just that you need to understand how to best care for your fast fashion garments. And then it also becomes a means to, achieve sustainability in fashion. So don't let anybody make you feel bad one way or the other if you're buying fast fashion or slow fashion. It's just about how you handle your garments, how you care for your garments, okay? All right, so I believe that covers that. As I always say, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to put them in the comments. I am more than willing to share my expertise. My resume as a model, semi-professional, is pretty extensive. It entails modeling for fashion shows like the annual Winston-Salem Bridal Show in North Carolina, which is very renowned, the prom shows and back to school shows at all of the department stores that we used to know and love, Belk's, Dillard's, JCPenney, Stein Mart, Paul Harris, also modeling for malls generally, the Four Seasons Mall, hair shows. Because of my 3C hair type, I definitely had a lot of opportunities as a hair show model. And then I parlayed that into teaching. I attended John Casablanca Modeling School. My mom attended Barbizon. And some of you know that I've taught modeling and acting, a wide array of different skill sets in the performing arts and entertainment industry for now well over 25 years. And I can say that because I'm 48. I actually started teaching when I was 21, so maybe a little bit longer. The years are flying by, so we're talking about 27. Good gracious, 27 years of experience. Let's take a moment. Damn, 27 fucking years. Fuck. Okay, well, I mean, when you look at it one way, it's awesome, and you look at it another way, it's like, damn, because I'm gonna be 49. That's deep. That's deep. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this haul, y'all. Oh my God. It's 49. All right, so we're gonna do the sports bras first, I believe. Okay? So, and no, this is not gonna be that type of show. But we are gonna go back to this wonderful sports bra. I love the design back here. And I showed you the brand. I believe this is a Vicky Don't Tell Nobody. No, I'm sorry. This is not. I think I showed it on camera. I'll put it up on the screen as a reminder. And then these shorts were thrifted as well. At the Goodwill stores here in North Carolina, most of them in the Triad and Greater Charlotte area, they do not have individually priced items. They group their items and price them that way. So ladies' pants will be, I think they're $5.99. Ladies, this would be considered sometimes activewear, sometimes just pants. And I think in the activewear, the pants or the leggings, because I think this would be probably considered, I can't remember what I paid, but I'm doing it part of my activewear haul. because that's what they call it at Goodwill's, is activewear, not athleisure. But it would either be $5.99 or $4.99, and either way, it's it's awesome, right? Because where you gonna get this except from maybe not even at a Walmart? Yeah, because the pants be they be priced, you know, so you're still getting a better deal, because oftentimes even at Walmart, maybe you can get it for $8.98, maybe $10.98, something like that, maybe $7.98. So it's definitely a better deal still there. But the shorts, the activewear shorts, and the pants, especially if they're leggings. If they're leggings, they know that's definitely activewear for Goodwill. These are going to be $4.99. So let me give you a little bit of close up. Look at the quality on this. Are you seeing this? Please tell me you're seeing this. Tell me you are seeing this. Okay. The quality is nuts. And I am a huge, huge advocate for thrifting as a zero waste measure. And the reason why is because it is the ultimate means to achieving a zero waste society, because it's, cyclical. You can go in and get amazing finds. A lot of people, they misperceive that if they shop at a thrift shop, then they're getting people's trash. That's not true. Sometimes we grow out of clothing, and it's still great quality, and it's a great option to give it away, and then someone else can purchase it and it's new to them. Sometimes we grow out of the fashion. Maybe we don't want that type of fashion anymore, the style, the aesthetic. And so you can then donate it to Goodwill, and then then it goes to someone else and it will be new to them. And on their model, even though of course, we did not have a great experience at the Goodwill in Concord, that was very likely because in our experience, generally, we have great experiences at all the Goodwills. So, even though it was a one-off situation, because, if Goodwill is watching, she's a lawyer. So me making these comments does not absolve your staff's behavior at the Poplar Tent location. But generally, the Goodwill locations are equitable and diverse. So, this is just absolutely wonderful. The quality is nuts. And so the bras are $3.99. I want to say the activewear bras are $3.99, and the intimate bras are $2.99. I'll make sure to put it up on the screen. But right? And the color, oh my God, I just love all shades of blue. Okay. And this is Calla. I mean, just come on. Look, I mean, just come on. And I love this new garment construction methodology where you don't have, you have the least amount of seams. And a seam is just a sewn, part of the garment. It's economically better because it takes, it's less expensive to construct the garments. And then it's more comfortable because sometimes the seams in certain types of garments can be very uncomfortable. Also, it's very flattering as well on all body types, right? All right, so then this one, I'm pretty sure is, Vicky, don't tell nobody. Got this nice little cute little lace here. And then the back. Nope. I keep saying stuff is Vicky, don't tell nobody, but it's not. Maybe the next one will be. Okay. This one is Brooks. I am a 34C, 36B, and I know that normally the girls those who wear my cup size or have a similar body type, you understand. Even though the letter of the bra, of course, is an indication, is a measurement of your actual breast size, the cup. I still find that a 36B still works for me. And of course, the 36 and 34 are for the measurement, right, around the bust. But I find that they're interchangeable for me. Let me know in the comments if it's the same for you. Now this one is a Vicky, don't tell nobody. See the Vicky Sport there. I love this one. Fits amazing. And remember, these are $3.99. Of course, women, our bust actually does the size, it fluctuates. Not only does our back measurement potentially fluctuate, but our breast size also fluctuates. They get bigger when we have children, right? They get smaller sometimes after. It just any number of maybe a medical crisis affects your breast size. So it's wonderful to then not just toss them in the trash, but to donate them. And then it can be, purchased and new to the next person. And that, again, is the ultimate measure to obtain zero waste. This is awesome. And these are quality items. It's not, again, you're not giving away your trash. So you shouldn't think of it that way. And then on the flip side, some people don't like Goodwill because they don't want people to go in there and they don't want to donate their quality goods that, and then someone come in and be able to have the opportunity to buy them at a fraction of the cost because they feel like those people are getting over. No, at the end of the day, Goodwill shouldn't be selling them at retail prices. That's number one, ridiculous. If anything, it would be at a consignment level, but the whole point, the whole Goodwill model works so well because of the good that they're doing by making, jobs available for disadvantaged communities and victims of domestic violence and just a number of things. And the model works. It works. So do not stop giving to Goodwill. Do not stop shopping at Goodwill. The business model is excellent. Excellent. I won't disagree with that in any way, shape, or fashion. All right, so this one is one of those kind of second tier brands, if you will. It's not one of the major name brands, but it fits amazing. Quality's great. And these last three are from Pretty Little Thing. And I love it when people, when they give their things away and they give it away in like a group, if you will, of the same sized items. So that's a huge win, especially for us middle class folk that's trying to, that we have to stretch our dollars. So my thrifting began out of necessity. You couldn't get me to buy clothes at the thrift shop. Now, I was always into buying household goods and furniture from thrift shops. That easy button. But clothes-wise, I was not, I didn't want to take the time to fish through things. I just didn't want to do it. And then, after I had my son, my weight did fluctuate, and I also needed new garments for my career and just different things like that. And so I had to take the time. I had to make the time to, you know, look through the garments, and then it became habit. And now you can't get me out of a thrift shop, okay? These are so cute. So cute, so cute. All in a size large. And if it helps you, then change your mindset and think of it just like a closet swap. You do that all the time with your good girlfriends and your homies. So then think of it like that. So I only have one pair of pants that I thrifted, and you would have already seen them. So I'm not going to try them on, but they are just wonderful. Just like great all season wear. I did look up this company. It is a DEI company. I'm trying to be mindful in that regard as well. My thoughts on purchasing garments from companies who have made proclamations against DEI, I think it's also I think it's also, you know, like a clapback to buy their items at the thrift shops, because but see, keep in mind that if you buy them only at the thrift shops, then it sends a message to them as well. Like, we'll get it because it's like reparations. It's like, yeah, we get it at a fraction of the cost. So if you just change your mindset, then a lot of the benefits of shopping at Goodwill become extremely apparent, right? And you can't argue against it. But yeah, I love these. They fit well. They're long enough. And as you saw, I got it in an extra large. So I will make a deliberate effort to definitely buy name brands that are DEI friendly from the thrift shops. Oh, wait, hold on. I did have a pair of shorts. And these are Old Navy, size medium. Sometimes it's nice to just have a cool pair of shorts. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Just nice and comfortable, you know? All right, and then I picked up some dry fits. These are all long sleeve. I like my dry fit pullovers to be long sleeve because sometimes, you know, it's kind of like that wearing shorts and a sweatshirt type of vibe. I just think that that's like the ultimate cozy vibe. And I believe all of these have thumb holes. I just love this. And this is perfect if you want to throw this on, you know, like if you've finished your workout. And some of us, we feel comfortable in working out in our sports bras only and shorts. And this would be perfect to throw on afterward if you had to maybe, you know, run errands or whatever and didn't feel as comfortable wearing just your sports bra out, you know, in public outside of the gym. So these things are just perfect to just throw on, and they still add a bit of pizzazz, you know, so you're not missing any style component at all. I love this. I love the color too. I definitely gravitate toward bright colors. Let me know about your style aesthetic in the comments. And this was a fast fashion pickup, no name brand, but I love it. And actually the construction is awesome. And you'll see that, I believe it was, I think it's, yeah, made in China. And it doesn't give the composition, but you can probably look it up on the QR code. Yeah, see, it has no tag. And that's what you typically would find at wholesale markets. Okay. Then I got this, which is crazy. It's a Nike dry fit. And it's extra large. Look how beautiful this is. I love when Nike just puts their, you know, the check mark, the goddess Swift symbol, in like the most, you know, unexpected places on the garment. I love that. Oh, you hit my stomach? It's about that time. Gotta wrap this up. Like I said, some stuff we'll put on using magic, and some stuff we'll just, you know, we're just having fun. This, I mean, come on. Can't you just see this like you just, you know, you come from the gym, then you throw this on, go run your errands, you know, you know, maybe sit out at a park or whatever, read a little bit. If you're walking your dog, I don't have pets, but you know, just, you know, maybe thrifting, you know, like I'm going to do today, but it's very sunny, so I'm not going to layer up. But this is just like, it's so perfect. Meeting your good girlfriends for coffee or mimosas and just chilling on a Sunday afternoon where you're not doing the whole brunch vibes and, you know, you're not coming, you know, you're not stepping out, you know. I love it. Isn't that nice? It's so nice. That nice waffle print in the inside. Like, it's just nice. And this was Athleisure. I believe it was either $4.99 or $5.99. Now, I've already shown you this one, so I'm not going to try it back on. And you see what I mean about the unique, creative placement of the Nike swoop. Love it. Love it down. Love it down. Sometimes you'll find items that people give away because of things like this. Maybe there's like a little pick on the garment. But you know, they make those like battery operated tools to just shave off, you know, lint and pickings from fabric. And I have one of those. That's a great investment. That's one of those ways to achieve sustainability in fashion. And as you saw, this was definitely Vicky Don't Tell Nobody, their pink collection. And I love this. Love this. Oh my gosh. Love. Now this is the only one that doesn't have thumb holes, but with me being 5'9", and I will put my measurements in the description box for my arm length. Like, this is awesome for it's tall girl and, you know, long arms friendly. And I have a long torso as well. I just absolutely love this. And so if someone wanted to give it away just because of that, I'm not going to stop them, and I'm going to do my part towards zero waste, and I will surely pick it up. And all I have to do is just run the machine over, and clearly you could tell that for me, it's not that big of a deal. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to wear all my garments with a little pick on it, but I just haven't done it, you know, just yet, but I'm going to do it. In fact, I'll probably do it, you know, in this video so that you can see. But yeah, it's just not like, I'm not passing this up for that. No way. All right, so that's all of the thrifted items, directly thrifted items. Now we're in my other closet. The closet that, of course, is directly in my apartment. And I just wanted to show you a few more things. When we think of thrifts, we always think of just thrift shops like Goodwill or Carolina Thrift. Whoa, excuse me. Good gracious. Actually, that's a perfect segue for this. I found these. They are the dupe for this. And when I tell you they smell, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, this one here is the black plum and vanilla. Oh my God, they smell so wonderful. And then this one is the vanilla and macadamia. I've been getting compliments on these hand sanitizers like they are perfume. People think it's perfume. And I wanted to make sure to show you that the ingredients are straightforward, no funky monkey stuff, and of course it's made in China. And it also includes good stuff like vitamin E, which is great and impressive. Guess how much? Guess how much? $2.99. $2.99. Yep. So I think I'm gonna definitely take the plum and vanilla today. I did the vanilla and macadamia the other day, and I got those from Tyson. And so that's also a wonderful segue. I swear I didn't plan this, but as I was saying, when we think of thrift, we think of just thrift shops like Carolina Thrift or Goodwill, or maybe, you know, there are different names of them, you know, around the country, but you just think about those very specific thrift shops where you go in and you're expecting to find items that are a fraction of their cost. And sometimes the costs are on par. It just depends on the pricing of the thrift shop management or whatever, but they are on that same business model. These thrift shops, they sell donated goods, and then, you know, they make a small profit. And it is a great business model. Most of these thrift shops also have a philanthropic or charitable arm, if you will, or branch of their business, whereby they do good in the hood. You know, they help communities in need, right? And I want you to expand your mind, expand that definition, and think circumspectively without limit when you consider how you can achieve economic freedom and also incorporate and help us all attain zero waste when you think about thrifting. So, thrifting, here's the definition. And so basically, going to shops like Tyson, which is still a retail shop, and in that it's a retail shop, they are reselling wholesale items. And so basically, those wholesale items, which we know most of them again are manufactured in China, maybe they cost $2-3 to make, and these places, which are normally considered fast fashion, but they're actually doing it the way it was intended, ethically. You know, when it was ethically driven. You know, now more often economics is not. It was deemed, you know, under natural law, it was deemed highly inappropriate for you to price gouge, you know, your fellow neighbor, if you will. So if you got beans or you produce the beans and then you produce the beans and it cost you, 2 hay bundles and a cow, you can't then sell it for 10 cows and 15 hay bundles. It was more appropriate under the rule of the thirds, where basically the manufacturer, which is normally, you know, they're at they're the start of production, if you will, right? There's the start of the supply chain, right? And so they produce it, and then you have a company generally who then will buy it in bulk and wholesale, right? And then they would charge up to 30%, which would be deemed most fair, right? So let's say that item then is $3 to produce. So then a 30% markup would be what? Because you're talking about 10% would be 30 cents, right? So a 30% markup would then be $1. So then they then charge $4 for a retailer to then come in and buy their merchandise at wholesale. And they're effectively just, you know, they're the middleman. So then the retailer buys 200, you know, and that's the benefit, is that you're buying it in bulk, right? They buy it at 200 for $4, right? And then they retail it or resell it in their stores, and they add their cost of goods sold. Generally, that's also supposed to be at, you know, ethically at a 30% markup, right? So that means that everybody's getting a piece of the pie, everybody's generally economically favored, and nobody's basically being unjustly enriched in this supply chain and demand, you know, process or whatever. But anyway, remember, your girl is also an economist, so just stick with me. What I'm getting at is that these places like the, you know, the beauty shops that we know and love, and you can get these items for, again, a fraction of the cost as opposed to what you would pay in big retail. So here's a great example. These I got from Rainbow. So you don't think about Rainbow as a thrift shop per se, but it is thrifting that you're doing when you're shopping at Rainbow. And I got these, like I said, I believe for $5. Sometimes they run a special where you buy one at regular price and you get your second pair of sunglasses or your sunnies for $3.99. And that's damn good because most of their sunnies are less than $10. So you're getting 2 pairs of shades for $13. Also think about flea markets and yard sales and estate sales. These are also places where you're going to get something for less, because that's the whole purpose of those type of sales. Unless it's a collectible item, and even with collectible items, you're still going to get those collectible quality items and antiques at sometimes even at a fraction of the cost, and at the very least you're going to get them cheaper, quote unquote, because that's the nature of an auction, an estate sale, a tag sale, a yard sale, a flea market, right? So expand your mind when you're thinking about thrifting. And in this regard, these were then thrifted from Tyson. All right, so last thing I want to show you, and then I'm gonna get on out of here because I'm going thrifting, are these. Now, I know that I have kind of done some teasers with my reels, but I wanted to, go ahead and just show you up close and personal the beauty that is these shoes. They are awesome. Now, if you're looking for them, be mindful that you need to look for the ones that have the toe imprint, the foot imprint. These are the ones that are, oh my God, orthopedically heavenly. They feel like you're walking on clouds, and I am not capping. They are awesome. Now, I would size down. I'm a true 9.5. I got these in a 9, and they are a perfect fit. Now, they come in black, that green, this hot pink, and all the hardware is gold. This gold hardware is actually plastic, but it's still durable. It doesn't feel like it's going to break on you or whatever. Orange and blue. I haven't been able to find the black, or the blue in my size, but I'm not giving up. And these are, and I'll pop up on the screen what they look like on, again, you've seen several of my reels, and if you haven't, now you have. But these were on sale. This is part of their annual sandals sale that they typically have, where you can buy 2 or more pairs of shoes at $12.99 and then you get them all for $10. Or if you buy 2 or more pairs of shoes that are $14.99, you get those for $12, all the shoes that you buy. And there's no limit. So yeah, get into it. And that's also thrifting, even though I went to the more popularly accepted retail shop that is Rainbow Shops. So now I'm going to go out and have me a little bit of fun thrifting. I'm going to wear the pink ones today since I don't have the blue. And I sincerely hope that you've enjoyed today's haul. It has been so much fun. Yeah, they're so cute. They're so cute. I think this is maybe the best time for me to maybe give like tips really quickly. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the video, let's see if it's, not too corny. So remember the pro tips. Just because it fits doesn't mean buy it. When you go thrifting, especially at the traditional thrift shops, make sure that you wear clothing that is fitted so that you can try on clothes on top of your clothing for sanitary reasons, and just in case they don't have fitting rooms like here in the greater Charlotte and Triad area. After COVID, they've kind of shut down the fitting rooms. So just be prepared. And the last pro tip for this vlog is be sure to bring your own sustainable bag. A lot of places now, especially thrift shops, they are not providing bags. They are, however, selling reusable bags, but just bring your own shopping bag. And that way we are all moving toward a zero waste society. And that is the ultimate goal. See you again in the next vlog. Bye. So insignificant, you can't even really see it. Got to get all the way up in your face. And so this is the little contraption, It just shaves it off. You can even hear it going to town.